Every leader has a moment, that quiet pause between I think I can, I'm not so sure. Welcome to Tutum Talk with me, Cara Nance. Together, we'll explore what it means to lead with heart, to build confidence not from control, but from connection. Because your leadership isn't about perfection, it's about presence. And when you trust yourself, your team will too. Join me as we explore leadership in the everyday and beyond. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Tutum Talk. If this is your first time here, I'm Cara Nance, leadership coach and founder of Tutum Leadership Coaching. On this podcast, we explore leadership that is thoughtful, human-centered, and rooted in the belief that people do their best work when they feel seen, supported, and connected. Today's episode is a little different in the most beautiful way. This week, Tutum Talk is participating in Podcasthon, a global initiative where podcasters around the world dedicate one episode of their show to highlighting a nonprofit organization doing meaningful work in their community. The idea behind Podcasthon is simple and powerful. For 1 week, thousands of podcasts use their microphones to shine a light on organizations that are working quietly and persistently to make the world a better place. And today, I'm honored to spotlight an organization that is very close to my heart, Hope Renovations. What makes this episode especially meaningful for me is that my connection to Hope Renovations goes back several years, and actually before the organization even physically existed. I first met the founder, Nora Spencer, in early 2019. At the time, Hope Renovations was still an idea, a vision that Nora was carrying. I remember listening to her describe the concept behind the organization and thinking, this is something really special. Have you ever had that experience where you meet someone and they start describing a vision they have for solving a problem in the world, and you can just feel that something meaningful is taking shape? That's what it felt like for me in that conversation. Nora spoke about the needs she was seeing in the community and the kind of solutions she believed could make a difference. And even then, before the nonprofit had officially launched, it was clear that the vision had both heart and practicality behind it. Hope Renovations officially launched in July of 2020. And since then, it has been incredibly heartwarming to watch the organization grow, persevere, and begin making the kind of impact that Nora imagined all those years ago. There's something really beautiful about getting to witness a vision come to life over time. Hope Renovations sits at the intersection of two very real needs that exist in many communities. The first is helping older adults remain safely in their homes. As many of us know, homes are rarely designed with aging in mind. Simple accessibility challenges like a staircase without a railing, a bathroom that isn't designed for mobility changes, an entryway that requires stepping up into the home. All these can become major barriers for someone as they age. Sometimes these small barriers can be the difference between someone remaining in their home or being forced to leave it. Hope Renovations provides home repairs and accessibility modifications that allow older adults to remain safely and independently in the homes they love. And if you pause for a moment and think about that, that's not just home repair. That's preserving independence. That's preserving dignity. And that's preserving a person's connection to the place where their life has unfolded. But that's not only part of what makes this organization so thoughtful. At the same time, that Hope Renovations is supporting older adults, they're also creating opportunity for people entering the skilled trades. Their workforce training program provides hands-on training for women and gender-expansive individuals who are interested in careers in construction. Participants learn real skills, they gain confidence, and they build pathways into careers that provide stability and long-term economic opportunity. And what I find so powerful about this model is that it brings two community needs together in one solution. Older adults receive the repairs and accessibility improvements they need, and women and gender expansive folks entering the trades gain training, mentorship, and experience that can launch a career. It's a beautiful example of thoughtful leadership and thoughtful systems design. One of the things that I love about the work of Hope Renovations is that the impact is deeply human. When you read the stories that they share, the stories of the people whose homes have been repaired, and the stories of the trainees whose lives have changed through the program, you begin to see the real ripple effects of this work. You see older adults who are able to remain in the homes they've lived in for decades. You see individuals discovering skills they didn't know they had. You see people gaining confidence as they learn to use tools, solve problems, and build something tangible with their hands. And those stories remind us that leadership doesn't always look like big headlines or massive initiatives. Sometimes leadership looks like installing a grab bar so someone can safely step into their shower. Sometimes leadership looks like handing someone a power drill and saying, "You belong here." Sometimes leadership looks like creating a pathway that didn't exist before. I also want to take a moment to celebrate the leadership behind this organization. Recently, Nora Spencer was named to the 2026 Female Founders 500 list by Inc. magazine, which recognizes some of the most creative, courageous, and inspiring women founders across the country. And what makes this recognition particularly meaningful is that nonprofits have only recently been included on this list. And to me, that feels like an important shift because mission driven leadership absolutely belongs right alongside the most innovative companies shaping our future. What Nora has built through Hope Renovations is innovation. It's innovation that is rooted in dignity, opportunity, and community care. It's innovation that addresses real needs in practical ways. And it's a reminder that some of the most impactful leadership happening in our communities is taking place inside nonprofit organizations. And one of the questions I often explore with leaders in my coaching work is this: what does your community need right now? And then the next question becomes, what could you build that might help meet that need? Hope Renovations is a powerful example of what can happen when someone sees a need clearly enough to begin imagining a solution. But seeing the solution is only the beginning. Building something that truly serves people requires persistence. It requires partnership. It requires resilience through the moments when the path forward isn't entirely clear. Nonprofits rarely appear overnight. They grow because someone keeps believing in the work long enough for the vision to take root. And that kind of commitment is leadership. As you listen today, I'd love to invite you into a simple reflection. Where in your own community might there be a need that someone is quietly working to solve? Maybe it's a nonprofit organization. Maybe it's a neighbor. Maybe it's someone building something small that has the potential to grow into something powerful. Sometimes the most meaningful leadership is happening all around us. It just doesn't always come with a spotlight. And one of the things I love about Podcastathon is that it gives us a moment to shine that spotlight on the people and organizations doing this kind of work. If today's episode sparked your curiosity, I encourage you to take a few minutes to learn more about Hope Renovations and the work they are doing in our community. Their information can be found in the show notes. Organizations like this remind us that leadership isn't just about vision. It's about building something that allows people to live with greater dignity, safety, and opportunity. And for me personally, it has been a gift and a true pleasure and an honor to watch this vision grow from an idea shared in conversation years ago into a thriving organization that's making a real difference. Sometimes leadership begins with one person who sees what's possible, and then, with persistence and care, that possibility slowly becomes reality. Thank you so much for listening to Tutum Talk. Y'all take care. I'll see you on the next one. I know you have a lot of options on how you carve out your day and spend your time, and I'm honored that you decided to spend some time here today at Tutum Talk. Remember that leadership, it isn't something that we master once. It's something we grow into, moment by moment. My hope is that today offered you a little more clarity, a little more courage, and a reminder that you're not leading alone. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with someone who might need it too. And remember, confidence doesn't come from having all the answers. It grows from connection, curiosity, and the courage to keep showing up. I'm Cara Nance, and this has been Tutum Talk, exploring leadership in the everyday and beyond.